Good morning. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Please share my channel. Please comment whether you agree with me or not. Thank you for being here. I love having you here. I really do appreciate your comments. I like the conversation. And let's just get started. So, a couple of videos ago, or it might have been just the last one, I'm not sure, I was talking about some political things, but I always want to tie my videos together with, the realities of life and, how I handle the realities of life and my perception as far as what guides quality life, both here and into the afterlife. And so this video, this whole channel that I've created is really about the things that I have discovered about life and who I am and this reality and what this reality is made of. Because, when people know who they are, where they stand, where they fit in, what they're doing, and what their goal is, in a workplace, that's what makes a productive worker, is when they know who they are, they know their qualities, they know what they can do, they know what's expected of them, they know what they need to do, they know everything about the workplace and everything about their job, and then they're able to do their job to the best of their abilities. It gives them the tools that they need to be able to do a good job and do the best that they can. So I think that this life experience is the same way. I think it's I don't think we have a specific job description. Some people think we have like a purpose and we're supposed to find that purpose. For me personally, I don't agree with that. I don't think that I was created here in this life with one purpose and one purpose only, and if I don't find it, I lose. For instance, some people say I knew from a young age I was supposed to be a pastor and pastor a church. I always knew that. I knew that was my purpose. I knew that was my calling. And a purpose and a calling, I think, are kind of maybe hand in hand, but a little different. But from what I've discovered, my purpose in this life is to be part of the all. It's to remember who I am, to know who I am, and to walk in that every day. To live this life as part of the one, part of the all, the light, the love, God, I am. That is, as far as I'm concerned, the purpose of human beings. So that's kind of an all-encompassing general purpose for us all, and you can believe that or not believe that. It's fine. I don't tell anybody what to think or believe. But for me, that's what I discovered, that my general purpose in life is to be one with all and love all and show that. Demonstrate the love that I have for the one, for the all that I am a part of. In my actions, in my behaviors, in my daily life, in how I treat other people, and how I treat animals, in how I treat nature, and just this experience in general. How do I perceive things? How do I view things? Do I view things with a cynical, negative outlook where I hate everybody and I act accordingly? Or do I treat this life experience as if it's one big wonder and one big joy and one big giant kind of a series of lessons for me to be able to grow, and I'm supported in growing, and I'm supporting everybody else, and everyone here is supporting me, and we're all supporting one another in our spiritual or our supernatural growth. And by growth, I mean being that person. It's impossible for us here while we're in this experience to 100% be kind and be good all the time. I'm in traffic right now. You've probably seen videos where I've gotten frustrated with traffic. I get frustrated sometimes with, customers or with, just life in general. And so, we have it in us to react or respond in a way. I've done that with my partner. We've gotten into arguments, and I found myself diving into arguments that I really shouldn't even be in. So we're not perfect. We all have flaws. We all have shortcomings. But as far as I'm concerned, my purpose is to work on my own shortcomings help other people with theirs. If they want to work on theirs, I want to be a light and help them work on theirs so they can have joy in their lives as well. You know, and I believe that for me, that's what this is all about. Now, a calling, when people say that, you know, I knew all along that I was supposed to be a pastor, or I knew I was supposed to be a heart surgeon, or I knew I was supposed to go out and, you know, just give everything away and go out into the world and you know, minister in the world or feed the hungry, whatever it is, and those are huge, lofty callings. I mean, some people have a calling to have children and grandchildren and be the matriarch of their family or the patriarch, or to, you know, work their lives, work very hard and support their family. That's a calling. You know, we all have a calling. There are entertainers and musicians and people who knew that they had a calling to be there to provide the arts for humanity. So there are a lot of different callings, but I think that those are activities. You know, there's the purpose, I believe, is who we are, and, you know, what the goal is for this entire experience. The calling would be something where someone is using their particular talents or their particular, you know, abilities to do things in this life experience that better the life experience, that better it for all. So I believe that's what, to me, if you have the Webster's definitions of purpose and calling, please post it in the comments. I didn't look that up before I started this video. I would really be interested to see what the Webster dictionary has to say about, or any dictionary, you know, just post the definitions of purpose and calling, and I'd like to see what that is. But, you know, I have in this past year, I've gone all the way back to, you know, what are we made out of? What is God made of? And they don't know that. Nobody knows what God is made of. But they are starting to learn what this reality is made of. I saw something this morning that was posted on Facebook, and I found it very interesting, and it's true. The color purple is not on our color wheel. It's not on the spectrum, on the color spectrum. There is no such thing as the color purple. Look that up. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you found. The color purple does not exist. Our brains make up the color purple because red is all the way on one end of the spectrum and blue is all the way on the other end of the spectrum. And our brains really don't know what to do with that information because it's information that, you know, it's conflicting, basically. It's, you know, one is on one end, the other is on the other, and it doesn't really put the two together when it sees red and blue. So what our brains do is our brain will merge those together and create a color. Our brain creates the color purple. I think that's fascinating because that goes along with what I was talking about several videos ago about how our brains fill in the gaps. And these are things that scientists are studying. They're finding this out. And it really, really does coincide with what we believe to be the spiritual side of us. I call it the supernatural. We are supernatural beings living in a life experience. And there's this one lady on YouTube that's always talking about life is but a dream. This is like a dream that we're having. I had a dream last night that was extremely vivid, and I don't remember what it was, but I know that it was almost like in medieval times. And when I woke up to get a drink of water and feed my cat this morning, I could still remember it when I went into the kitchen, but then I forgot it. But it was the most fascinating place. Wherever I was last night was absolutely fascinating. I woke up with like, whoa, that was a cool place. I don't know where I was, but man, it was cool. What a dream. It was very fascinating, and it was not like this world. It was very different from this world. And it was so I don't know how to say it. You know, it was just, I was walking around, just looking around, like the whole thing was just, whoa, this is so cool. And it wasn't like anything I had ever seen before, but there was a whole storyline that went along with it, and crazy how we, forget the whole thing. But when I first woke up, I remembered it, and it felt like I had been in a whole other land, in a whole other place with other people, and it was just crazy. There was another dream I had that someone was coming, and I wouldn't call it a nightmare because it wasn't like super scary, but somebody was coming after us, like chasing after us, and we had to get in an elevator. And this probably comes from my life experience. I mean, my life here on Earth, because I have to hit a button for an elevator every day. Sometimes the elevator comes quickly, and sometimes it takes its good old sweet time. We've got 14 floors of our building, and I'm on the 11th. So if the elevator's on the first floor, you got to wait for it. And in this dream, somebody was chasing us, and we had to hit the button for the elevator, and we were waiting for the elevator as somebody's chasing us. Like, we had to get out of there fast, but the elevator was the only way out. And that was kind of like, had my heart rushing. And then I woke up. I don't know if the elevator ever made it or not. I don't know what happened. It's funny because in dreams, sometimes you just never get to see the end of the story. But, dreams are pretty fascinating. It feels like we are really there when we're in the dream. And there's this video YouTuber who's always talking about how life is like a dream. And they are coming up with, the particles are blips of light on a wave. And that's just the most simplistic way to talk about particles. But particles, or, are just light reflecting, all these light blips, and they change. They're not always the same. They don't group together, in the same way all the time. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to share, the reason I brought that up, the reason I brought up the world and what this is made of is, I think if we can see the world as just a lot of light that is, creating this experience. Our brains are processing this experience. The color purple doesn't even exist. I'm looking around at trees and grass and ground that I walk on. My senses are what help me, make sense of this reality. In dreams, we don't have all our senses. Have you ever tasted something in a dream? I haven't. I'm not even sure if I've ever smelled anything in a dream, or I don't remember if I've touched something, and I'm going to have to try to really think about that. Maybe next time I go to sleep, I'll see if I touch something, if I can actually feel it, or if the dream is just like a big projection that I'm not actually participating in, but just looking at like a movie. I'm not really sure. Has anybody ever touched anything in a dream? If you have, let me know. But anyway, so in this experience that we're in, we have our senses, and we do touch and smell and taste and feel, and that's what makes sense of all this. But if we know that we're walking around in this reality that we're in, and that other beings are in this reality, and we are to be the best we can be as far as loving and kind, compassionate, and there's justice. There are all kinds of different things that go along with this experience, but really what it comes down to is knowing that we are part of the oneness, knowing we are part of the oneness of all. And how we operate in this world is I believe our calling, or that's how just our everyday lives, doesn't have to be a calling, but just operating in this world in our everyday lives helps us to either generate joy or generate misery, or there are different things on different ends of that. But I think the name of the game is to create joy for us, for everyone, for everything that's in this experience, just to be able to bring forth joy. And I think that's what is everlasting. I think whatever it is that we bring forth while we're here, the Bible says on earth as it is in heaven. So bring it forth here. Go out in your life and bring forth the joy and the peace and the kindness and the understanding, the forgiveness, and all of the things that bring positive light to everything and everyone. And I believe that that's what, that we are living in our everlasting right here where we are. And then we'll just carry that out. So anyway, those are my thoughts for today. I'm going to get into the office. I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you next time.